So, maybe you're like me and you saw Dying Light 2 on sale and decided to pick it up since you've been playing Elden Ring or other games since February. So now you're thinking, now what? It's a huge open world game filled with infected that want to make me a snack. Where do I start? Well, the blind guy has you back. I got some pretty general, broad, overarching, but helpful tips to get you through this huge game. These tips are in no particular order of ranking, just tips to help you. I feel like this is the perfect time to play this game, as rumors are circulating that the DLC is being released in September. More videos to come on that, but anyway, guys, let's get into it. So, first tip for you is explore. I know it seems simple, but it's a big open world game, and you should. And it might seem intimidating at first to do that, because you don't have a lot of health or stamina, but trust me, it'll be worth it. In the early game, you want to find inhibitors and military medkits. Your medicine is really weak at the beginning, so definitely upgrade it when you can. Now, inhibitors not only help your health and stamina, but certain skills require a certain amount of health and stamina as well. So these also increase your immunity, so you can go longer at night and in buildings. I definitely won't spoil anything, but you'll see why this is a thing early on in the game. Now, that leads me into my next tip. By exploring, you'll find windmills to take over, night runner hideouts, and other things along your way of exploring. These will increase safe zones, spots to rest throughout the game. They also act as spawn points as well, so the more the better. When you get to the point where you can take over electrical substations and water towers to assign them to factions, this also gives you safe zones, but also more spots for merchants and craft masters. Now, with craft masters, I suggest you buy all the blueprints you can for mods, throwables, and consumables. For instance, with the consumables, the immunity boosters are extremely important in the early game. That will boost your immunity at night and when you're in buildings. Now, anytime you see merchants and craft masters, I suggest you buy any unique, rare, uncommon resources they're selling. This will help you keep a healthy stockpile for crafting. Most of the stuff is pretty cheap, so it'll be good early on in the game. These resources can also be gained from doing Dark Hollows and Forsaken Stores, but if you aren't ready for that in the early game, then this is the way to go. Now, as far as weapons go, from my experience, the most powerful weapon in the game is the PK crossbow. And I think you guys have seen that in action on some of my other videos. If not, go check them out. I will leave the playlist in the description below. So that weapon scales with you as you go through the game, and you can get it fairly early on. This is one reason I mentioned stockpiling resources, so you can craft bolts, because they do take a fair amount of resources to do that. You get the crossbow by siding with the Peacekeepers, and once you assign 4 facilities to the Peacekeepers, you'll get the crossbow pack. I went all Peacekeepers in my playthrough because I liked all the traps, but it's actually appealing to do a split as well, so you can get the parkour benefits from the Survivors faction. In your exploration, there are a few GRE containers that have guaranteed artifact legendary weapons inside of them every time you go there. I can't exactly remember off the top of my head, and I would point them out on the map. There's only like one that I really remember pretty frequently, and I always just go to that one. But there are a bunch of them throughout the world. So as you find them, you can go and just kind of notate where they are. The triggers for the spawns of the legendary weapons or the artifact weapons are a couple hours of gameplay, or sleeping, or quitting out of the game after a bit. So definitely check those out. So probably the most important tip on this list. I know I said I'm not ranking these at all, but I do feel like this is an important one. Don't rush through the story. You won't level up enough to fill out your skills if you do that. Leveling is extremely slow in this game, so like I said before, it's a big open world game, so enjoy and explore it and do the side missions. Just get your money's worth out of the game. Some of those side missions may surprise you and have tie-ins to the main story. Several times I thought I was getting into a simple side mission that quickly got huge and tied into the main story. Some side missions even have 10 subsequent missions to them. Also, there was another side mission that gave some backstory on the events that took place before the beginning of the game. So, all extra side content, in my opinion, added to the overall enjoyment of the game. Of course, there are typical side missions that you see in open world games, like, oh, go fetch these items for me, or assassination missions like, go kill these things. But I think they did it in such a way in this game that it wasn't completely boring and mindless like it is in some other games, and normally make me personally lose interest in those types of missions. So, these tips should help you from the start to the end of the game. I thought this game was fantastic, and I'm glad that I got to wrap everything up in the game. If the rumors are in fact true about the September DLC release, keep an eye out for that video soon and some personal speculation surrounding that. Hope everybody enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Stay tuned, more coming at you. Take care.